not going to lie, Saggy, this is a difficult card, the Wailing Tree. It is talking about, and it's weird because I did a channel for you before starting this reading, and the channel came out as, why are you following me in here? Which was weird, okay, but we're going to unpack it. This is your November 2025 reading. Thank you for being patient. The Wailing Tree is as you come into your season, which is around the 20th of November. There is something about something you wanted, something that you always felt you were walking the path of your life towards. You may have had some kind of, in fact, you would have done, being lovely Saggies that you are. Got my hot water bottle here, by the way, got my cat on the window. You may have had feelings when you were younger that you were destined for something. And destiny is a big word for Saggy. You're ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is a planet that is about expansion, but it's also about philosophy and destiny and long-term travel. And as Sagittarians, there's always something bigger than you in the mix. So there's always like a holy grail or somewhere you're aiming towards, or something that you feel is part of your journey to travel. But there are changes on your journey to travel that are coming up as you come into your season, as we hit the last week in November. And it's almost as if you're boarding a train, okay? And it's weird because I was reading a Sylvia Plath poem, like you do, just before starting this. Boarded the train, there's no getting off, okay? And I feel like this is you. And there's not an awful lot of room in the luggage racks, okay? Now, most Sagittarians, I don't know actually, tell me in the comments, right? Because I'm thinking of the Sagittarians I know. They're pretty happy-go-lucky. They can usually pack quite light. But then I think of another Sagittarian friend I've got who is a bit like me and tries to strap the entire house on her back. Let me know your thoughts, please, towards how much you take with you if you're going on a trip, on a journey. So, you're being invited probably to a destination, like metaphorically, that you've been knowing you should have been heading for a while. But the universe, I always say this, spiritual growth is a biatch, and it is. And the universe is like, well, there's a price to pay, you know, it's not a free ticket. Even though you're not paying financially to get here, it wants you to face up to things that are not going to come with you on this journey. And that's why it's called the Wailing Tree, but it's also called reconciliation. And this came up a bit for Leos, okay? And also the thing about childhood has come up for every sign. Sagittarius children, and I have a new nephew. Well, he's not that new, he's nearly 1, okay? And he's a Saggy. And can I say, and I've got my midheaven in Saggy, I'm claiming that little bit of Sagittarius for myself. He is the most, and I'm not into everybody's babies, you know what it's like. He's such a sunshine. And Sagittarian children tend to be that way. You're full of these beaming rays of optimism and philosophy and just trusting kind of nature. And then, of course, what happens is you meet the rest of the world, you know, and this has been coming up for you for a few months. There are some people in the universe, and let me know in the comments, right? Let me know your specific experiences. Don't name names, because hey, or if you want to, just spill the tea. Anyway, tell me your specific experiences of people who have deliberately tried to stymie and restrict you, okay? There is always a little cohort of people who don't like the ease with which the universe kind of furnishes you with opportunities. It's supposed to be that way for you, actually. You're just doing your natural thing. Sagittarians fly by the seat of their pants for the most part. And sometimes you don't, quite often, you don't really have to work for things. Not because you're lazy and not just because you're lucky, although you are lucky, but because it's not supposed to be that way. The universe sees you as serendipitous, in which case it's going to give you quick, you're getting off here? Are you doing this? Do you want to take this path or that one? Very often the best decisions that you ever make, Sagittarius, are spontaneous, or at least seem like they are, okay? So there's something here about feelings you've had about a certain destination. It could be that you wanted to open a spiritual business. It could be, with the Saggy, it could be a lecturer, you could be a traveller, you could be anything. Part of it is not going to be like you thought it looked like. Part of it is not going to happen where you thought it was going to happen. And part of it is not happening on the timeline that you thought it was. Now, think back in your life to the times that have been the most of a pivot, that have been the most of a shift. I will bet that someone was trying to restrict you, and to avoid that restriction, you leapt in a certain direction. Okay? This is going to be the same. The other card I pulled for you was Stranger and Curiosity. And this is about being in your absolute Sagittariusness with no F's given and no apologies. Okay? I'm going to have to find a pen because I want to write down the no F's given and the no apologies bit. And I'll tell you why. Because I am a ramshackle Pisces. And you know damn well I'm not going to remember it. So when I come to something, and let me know in the comments as well, put it in the comments. Never explain, never apologise, never explain. Okay? No F's given. Never apologise, never explain. Recently, over the last few months, and actually over the last year or so that I've been doing your monthly readings, I've been getting a feeling of apology from the Sagittarius vibe, which should not be happening, because you don't do well when you're apologising. Have you ever noticed that as a Saggy, you don't feel comfortable apologising? And it's not because you're a gobshite and you don't want to apologise. It's because it's no apologies. It's not supposed to be that way for you. Yeah. 9 of Pentacles. I'm not apologising that the sun shines in the garden that I built and that all of the flowers choose to grow around me and that I happen to belong there. Saggy, you belong in the light, in the limelight, actually. So some of you, it's about getting attention. And again, that is not a negative thing. For some of you, it could even be becoming famous, maybe becoming famous or internet famous or whatever they call it, or you've got a vlog, a channel, whatever, and it's going to grow. As we come into 2026 and we come into your season, it is not a time to apologise for any moves you may make. And you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. You don't have to prove yourself. Now, it's weird because this has come up. I know we're in Scorpio season as I'm making this, so it's not that surprising. There may have been people in your childhood, because childhood has come up for every sign. It could be in your family, that's often, and it can be good-natured and well-intended, but that's often where the realities begin, where you may have had as a child quite incredible kind of missions, dreams, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be that, or just made quite deep, sweeping philosophical statements which should not have come out of the mouth of somebody of your age. That's a thing, and it scares the horses. And especially if they love you and they don't want you to be disappointed, they can say things to you, that's not a real job. You need to plan more. You need to be more organised. Sagittarian organisation is not standard looking, but it's still there. You have the weirdest way of being organised. I don't know, it's kind of messy. You're a mutable sign. No apologies, it's just you. Lean into being you, okay? And pretty much everything will work out. Just dropped my hot water bottle. One moment, state of emergency. Lean into being you. Now, that sounds easy. And when things are going right for you, it is easy. You just lean into being you, the sun shines, tickety-boo, let's go. When you are opposed by restriction, then it's harder to lean into being you. It was harder when you were young because that is a power relationship where you're a child, you don't have the power. You don't also have the perspective or the confidence, although I bet you gave it a red hot crack and tried to fight back in a way, to carve out your own way of doing things. You are unique as Sagittarians, you are one-offs and you are blessed. So there are times you get away with things you shouldn't get away with. Lean into it, claim it, don't apologise for it. Okay, let's take a couple more cards. If this is resonating with you, lovely Sagittarians, do give this video a hype. There is a hype button that YouTube has kept very well hidden, as YouTube sometimes does. If you hit the like button, if you're on a phone, and you go like that, it'll come up, hype, and you can hype it. Woohoo! You can say woohoo if you like. I'll say woohoo if you do. Okay, let's take a couple more cards of this. I'm going to look, itchy nose, at your love life as well in a minute, okay? In the second half. We're going to, second half? I was like second half. In the second half, we're looking at friendships, we're looking at single relationships, friendships, couples, situations, whatever, okay? I've had coffee, what can I say? Right, you get the Two of Swords. Mercury is retrograde for the rest of, from when you get this reading, because I was late doing your reading, massive apologises. I've been a bit lacking in energy. Mercury's retrograde from the 9th of November, I think, for the rest of the month. Okay, so this very beautiful, and this is the Anna K Tarot, if anybody wants to know, because everybody's asking. This very beautiful card is showing two swords. Just remember, particularly around time of just after the new moons, so have a look in your moon diary or on Google when the new moon cycle is, that you do not become attached to the outcome, rather to the feeling, okay? When the Two of Swords is at play, it means that we're in a hammock, and that hammock is Mercury retrograde. Think of it as a hammock of time, and a little bit like Gemini and Pisces. You can play with different timelines as a Saggy because you're mutable, you're quite dualistic. So if you've got two competing ideas, or if you've got a lot of faith and hope and a lot of doubt, you can ride those two horses with one arse during November. You don't need to make big decisions. You don't need to jump this way or that, okay? Just remember that wailing tree. Grieve what you have lost. Grieve what was never meant to be, but at the same time, keep that curiosity. Remain curious about things that are strange, which can be people, which can be the world, which can be anything, and be curious about that in the same way you should have been when you were a child, but were, it depends, it'll be different levels for different Saggies. Some of you would have just been taught about disappointment, or not hoping too much, and not reaching too far, and not daydreaming, and all of those lovely things. Others of you, it may have been, because it takes a lot. You're a fire sign, and it's a bit like Aries, and Aries had this in their reading. With a Sagittarius child, and I'm very pleased to see it with my nephew, because he's growing up, you know, they say it takes a village, and I can see it. There's a lot of family around him. He's got a lot of freedom. There's not a lot of, well, you know, and do and all that. It's quite a free vibe, and he just scoots around and, like, you know, and he's learning to eat very freely. There's nothing forced. There's no rules. he'll thrive and he'll make his own rules. Sagittarius needs a lot of freedom to grow. And some of you, if you were brought up in a house, and I can feel it actually, of restriction, some of you, like, it might have even been to do with food or drink or something like that. It might just be one of you, like what you ate. But for others of you, more psychological and seen and not heard, and really quite squished, because you have to break the spirit of a fire sign child. It happens to Leo, it happens to Aries, it happens to Saggy, but in a slightly different way, because you can never quite break the spirit of a Saggy child, because there's always a little part of them, like a little vapor, that is going to daydream whatever you do. And you can't really, you can get inside their head, but you can't steal everything. Okay, so that little bit that you've got left, Saggy, okay, keep it, it's yours, grow it, treat it as a garden, enjoy it, let the sun shine on it, let the light in, okay? You've got the Four of Cups. There are plenty of people around you, and we'll have a look again, this could come in love and relationships, friendships, colleagues, whatever, who don't share your vision and who live lives of quiet desperation and disappointment, and it pisses them off when they see you shining, okay? Yeah. Four of Pentacles. Learn, because Saggies can be very open. Very open. Jupiter is a very big planet. It's vast and open. It's about expansion. Saggies are like, yeah, I'll share the information and then everybody can grow from it. Most of the time, yes. At the moment, keep your powder dry and keep your cards close to your chest, particularly if you're starting some kind of a business or a degree or a learning course or whatever your endeavour is. The Four of Pentacles, it is sometimes called the card of the miser. I don't agree. It's like make bank, make emotional bank, invest in your emotional life, invest in your financial life, invest in yourself. Be sensible as well as a daydreamer, okay? So all the people, all the critics that want to call you out on it for whatever reason can get stuffed, because actually you're crossing the I's, you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. You can tell I'm a Pisces. I'm dotting the T's and I'm crossing the I's. Anyway, love. Moving to the erection section. Love. God, I'm boiling in this shirt. Oof! Hey up, keep your threads on, sir. Someone's gone naked already in the love bit. Woohoo! Actually, it's a fantastic card for you, and I'm pretty sure it's a Sagittarius card too. Okay, I'm going to take one more to go with. There will be an extended love reading afterwards as well, so if you get really into this, I'm going to do me and you side by side reading. Oof, was not expecting that. Okay. I'm just going to park my hot water bottle on the floor and put my feet on it, because it's hot enough in here, Saggy. Tst. Yeehaw. First card, the Nine of Wands. I'm pretty sure that is a Sagittarius card too. Boundaries in your love life. Now, boundaries and Sagittarius are interesting, and let me know in the comments again. My experience of Sagittarius is that you're pretty good at boundaries, even though you shouldn't be, because you're a mutable sign, and us Pisces, we're mutable signs and we're useless at them. But for some reason, all the Saggies I know are pretty good at speaking up for themselves. So it's just a reminder to be very singular about your love life, regardless of whether this is like the hottest person in town, the greatest love you've ever experienced, you're single, whatever, okay? It's all about you. Second card we get, Six of Wands. Got to keep it covered up because of YouTube's TNA policy. I know, which they seem to have solely for my channel. My channel! I'm like, oh my God, I'm so wholesome. I'm so friggin' wholesome. What is this? OnlyFans Tarot, come on. I mean, I might start that actually. Can you imagine? Do 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 do. Anyhow, yes. 6 of Wands, winner winner, chicken dinner, or vegan alternative, or otherwise known as the woohoo card. Very much associated with you. Love as well, and always make note with any tarot of the yellow. Now, where did we see this before? Here in the 9 of Pentacles. It's all about you. Let the light shine. Let your... I'm doing it in capitals, like a crazy person. Stick a light in the comments. There's not very good ones. You can do like a light bulb or a sunshine, whatever you can find that's like woohoo, like that. I mean, you can hop on a bus with a loincloth on if you want to, but don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, so what wins for you? What is success for you? What is woohoo for you? Having those boundaries, keeping yourself safe, while at the same time expressing yourself, whipping it off on the bus, being the free spirit that you are in your relationships. Okay? Now, again, a bit like at work and a bit like with people who are trying to restrict you and stuff, it's easy when it's going well, but it's not so easy when you're up against obstacles and restrictions. Then we have the Emperor. Not a card I would normally associate with you, so I'm going to take another card for it because actually I already know it's not you. This is somebody else who knows what they want. It's somebody speaking up. The Emperor is somebody who is willing to put themselves out there, which I rather like. I want that card. Oh, yes. Oh my God. Doing a little dance. 9 of Cups. That is Jupiter in Pisces. I know that. Your planet. I'm getting quite a few, and someone let me know why. I'm getting a few Pisces vibes for you. I know I am a Pisces, but I'm just getting some link with you about maybe you've got some in your chart, or I don't know, let me know. 9 of Cups. It's what your heart desires. As we move through the murkiness of Mercury retrograde, where the universe is drawing back a curtain and saying, and challenging all of us actually, and saying what's real, what's not, what do you need to mourn, what do you need to let go of, what are you not taking on that train with you, where's the baggage that you can't be asked to put in that rack, there's no room for it. How are you standing up for yourself? How are you inspired? And also, more importantly, how close are you to the beating heart of what you want, of what you need? And itchy nose again, sorry, always get an itchy nose when I'm really channeling, which is really disgusting, but is what it is. Right, the heart wants what it wants here. For some of you, this may be a bit risky, a bit unusual. Obviously, you're responsible for your own destiny here, but fortune favours the brave. Oh yeah, look. 8 of Swords, a most beautiful version of the card as well. I love this card. The 8 of Swords is about mental restriction. Do not allow anybody to restrict you mentally in terms of your heart and soul. In other words, your heart and soul are kind of overriding your head in this. I'm going to have to let one of my cats in because she's making a little, I love you, but I can't use the cat flap kind of a noise. Hang on. Come on then, Twinkle. Hi, lovely. She She's called Diabolo. She's very lovely, but she does live up to her name. Hi, sweet pants. I'm doing Saggy. Yeah, you're a Taurus. It's all right. Oof. Oof. Yes. Queen of Cups. Now think of her as the aubergine of queens. She takes on the flavour of whatever sign she comes up for. You have... This could be anything, right? You could have an inkling. You could have a... suspicion, I suppose. Yeah, it's not a suspicion really. 6 of Cups. You've got some idea about somebody and destiny here. Okay, the 6 of Cups, when Mercury is retrograde, is a card of longing, of nostalgia. Go on, mistress. That's her mum that's just jumping off the table. Thank you. Longing, of nostalgia, and a feeling that you know something, but it's kind of feeling it in your water, feeling it like the Queen of Cups. You kind of know that there's really a lot to play for in a certain connection with somebody that is a bit unusual, maybe a bit telepathic, maybe a bit weird in some way. But you know, when it comes to Saggy, it's not weird. Your relationships can often be quite unconventional, like us Pisces, because we're philosophical beings. I'm just going to take an oracle card for it. In the extended reading, I am going to do you and this person side by side mirror reading. So I take a card for you, I take a card for them, and then we riff off each one. I tend to take 4 cards for you, 4 cards for them. And then we kind of follow our noses and channel what comes up from them. Just want an oracle card that's going to sum this up a bit. I'm quite excited about the connection that you're feeling. But at the same time, we do get the very sensible card, the Libran card, to be fair. And I don't mind that, because somehow you've got to, it's like I can see you running around juggling a load of like plates, maybe keeping them spinning. Some of them are your sensible plates, where you're paying attention to boundaries and you're being very real about things and you're making decisions based with your head. But at the same time, there is, you know, the universe loves the dreamer in you. And it wants you to dream big in every single aspect of your life. And sometimes that means putting your heart out there. And you're going to have to feel the divine timing of when that is, okay? And this is just a message for one person. If you feel like you've lost someone, and they will come back to you. And I don't know who that is for, okay? But it's a very interesting, very specific little message. Whew, Saggy, a whistle stop train. Beep, beep. I'm going to go do the extended, and I'm going to crack open a couple of decks. 1 deck for you, 1 deck for them. I know. It's kind of fitting that whole dualistic timeline thing. Whew. Okay, it will be a link underneath if I remember to put it there. I know, you know what I'm like. I'll see you on the other side, lovely Saggy. Namaste.